On behalf of Tyler Williamson, I want to welcome everybody and thank you for being here. My name is Alan Hoffa. I'm a Monterey Council member, and I'm proud to be supporting Tyler. I'm also really pleased that our supervisor, Jane Parker, is here to introduce Tyler to you all. I've had the honor of serving with Jane on the Fort Ord Reuse Authority Board. She's a champion for our environment. She's a champion for people. We've worked with her on homelessness. She came and was the keynote speaker at our Homelessness in Paradise. What was the title of it? Symposium. And she's fought really hard to get a place for car homeless folks to have a place to live in peace and safety. So please join me in welcoming our supervisor, Jane Parker.
Thank you, Alan. Hey, it's great to see everybody here today. Tyler has some pretty good connections with the weather people, don't you think? It's a little frightening in the larger scheme of things, but it's nice to have a nice day. So, especially for this, because Tyler really represents a ray of sunshine for the Monterey City Council as well as for the region. I first remembered meeting Tyler as he was doing his capstone project at CSUMB. He was very interested in the Affordable Care Act and really understood the importance for the Affordable Care Act's viability of having young people sign up for health care coverage. So he was really trying to make sure that they understood the value for themselves so that they would sign up with this great new opportunity that they had to get reasonably priced coverage. And it was really so thoughtful, and he brought new people, new voices to the table who spoke so eloquently about their own experience and how if they had had health care available, some tough things that had happened to them might not have happened. So really interesting, and took a lot of coordination and just a really simple example of what I think he really brings: his intelligence, his heart, his commitment to the community, and the fact that in Monterey we were just trying to figure out if there's ever been a person of color who served on the Monterey City Council. Probably not in the last 50 to 100 years, let's just say that. Probably not. So we're just really happy that Tyler is stepping up. To have, for me, as I advance in age, it's a wonderful thing. Because as I get older, I get wiser, maybe, but I also see the importance of having new people with different perspectives coming up through the ranks and being willing to serve publicly. The kind of advocacy that Tyler has been involved in, he was one of the organizers for the Pride event last year. He really knows how to connect with people in the community that some of us like to think we know or like to think we can connect with, but he really does it. And so having someone with that advocacy and activist perspective coming into the establishment of elected office, I think is really healthy, because I have found at the Board of Supervisors, I can have some good ideas, and of course I think I have great ideas about how the county can do things differently, do things better for the community, but being only one supervisor, if I don't have a couple of other votes, I can't do much. And the staff, they're busy. They're very busy doing what they already do, and if I want them to do something differently, they're going to nod at me and wait for me to go away. And so when it comes to things that are super important, it's been through community activists and advocates that we have gotten things done. And the healthcare situation is a great example. Back when the Affordable Care Act was being contemplated, we had the opportunity in California to expand the definition of Medi-Cal early so that people could get signed up before the federal program was active. And the staff at the county level talked as if they were interested in that, but they were not moving on it. And so it was some community folks and me and a couple of other supervisors had interest, but I was the main one. We were meeting with the staff, talking to them, asking them how it's going, what's next, how can we help you, and we just squeezed them. And eventually they did it, and they were so fearful that it was going to be terrible, it was going to cost too much money, it was going to be too much work, oh my God, and so, but they did it. They just took a deep breath, and finally they were ready. They did it, and of course it went very smoothly, and within a couple of weeks they were taking full credit. They're allowed to take credit, but they were taking full credit for what a great thing we had been able to achieve for the community. And that's the partnership that helps get things happen, to happen. And I know you have examples in the city of Monterey. We just recently had an example, and a lot of leadership and credit goes to Timothy Barrett, who really, again, understood the value of the community coming forward to help educate and strengthen the resolve of the city council and mayor. There was the opportunity, there was a request that water that the city of Monterey has allocated in a really wise move. They said in their general plan, we have a little bit of water to play with, water credits, if we're going to dedicate those to affordable housing, where nothing else is as important to us, so we're going to keep that water aside for affordable housing. Well, a well-known family name person showed up at the city council and said, oh, I have a better idea. You should make that water available for my commercial property. And so Council member Barrett saw this as an opportunity, maybe risky. If the vote had been taken that night, he might not have had the votes to do what we certainly think is the right thing for the community, to keep that water for affordability in Monterey, which is challenging enough to do. So the community activated, and I know Tyler was involved with that as well. A lot of people, including myself, wrote letters. People showed up for the city council and really made sure, I think it was a unanimous vote, to go ahead and continue with the wise course of action that they had laid out in the past. This is a kind of relationship that people who are of the community and are not afraid of the activist advocacy voices it's an impact that people like that can have on our town. And it's not just the city of Monterey that's going to benefit if Tyller Williamson is elected to the city council. City council members, some of them don't know it before they get elected, but they serve on a bunch of regional bodies. And there are a number of them that could really use some fresh energy and a fresh perspective. So, and such a good mind as Tyler has. So I love to talk. I could talk forever about the important issues that face our community, and I've loved working on them these, 9-ish years. And I look forward to working with Tyler when you all elect him to the Monterey City Council.
Hi everybody, my name is Tyler Williamson, and I want to welcome you to my campaign kickoff as a candidate for Monterey City Council in 2018. I want to thank you all so much for being here today. Before I begin, I want to start by recognizing some of the elected officials here today, starting off with our Monterey County Supervisor, Jane Parker. We also have another Monterey County Supervisor, Luis Alejo. Where's he at? Somewhere? Let's see who else. We have Molly Evans for Water Board. We have former Seaside Councilmember Ian Oglesby. We have former Monterey City Councilmember Libby Downey. And Nancy Selfridge. Thank you for being here. Oh, Jimmy! And we also have a city council member from Watsonville, Demi Dutra. Thank you for being here. So I'm just going to start off by telling you all a little. Oh, I'm sorry. And city council member Timothy Barrett. I apologize. Two of them know how to read. And our city council member, Alan Hoffa. There's just so many of you guys. Did I get everybody? Is there anybody else? Thank you all again. So I'm just going to start off by telling you all a little bit about myself. I've been working at the Naval Postgraduate School for the last 8 years. I also graduated from Cal State Monterey Bay with a degree in human communication in 2013. And so while I was going to school and work, I had to take a leave of absence in order to accept a position with the 2012 Obama campaign, where I managed his headquarters out of the San Francisco office. So the experience there was absolutely amazing. I mean, obviously we won. President Obama got into office, and it made me feel like I could take a back seat. So I just relaxed a little bit, and I didn't get as involved as I felt like I could have. Obviously, because then Trump got elected, and I knew that it was partially due to my complacency. So I knew that we had to do something about it. There was a lot of conversations happening within the community, and I connected with Elena Loomis. Elena, where are you at? Elena Loomis and Gary Carnes. And we formed Indivisible Monterey Bay, which they have the goal of resisting the Trump agenda. So we had our first event, and over 200 people showed up. The feeling was absolutely stimulating. We planned a lot of events. We had rallies, we had protests, and when I would go to these community events, I would have people ask me, Tyler, when are you going to get involved with local politics? Or are you going to do this one day? And so being involved in the community and interacting with these amazing, awesome people, which a lot of you are here, you know, I knew that I had to step forward to do my part. And so that's when I decided that I was going to run for Monterey City Council. So now that you know a little bit about me, let me share some of the priorities as far as issues. So we're going to start off with water. Do you know that do you know that we pay more for water? We have higher water rates here than anywhere else in the entire nation. Do you guys think that's acceptable? No. Are we going to put up for this? No. We need to remove the profit-making motive out of the water process. We need to get rid of Cal-Am. And that's why today I stand here and publicly support Public Water Now. And so I encourage you all to make sure, if you haven't already, to sign the ballot in order to make sure that we get it as a ballot initiative in November. And then also just kind of stick to that issue and really be paying attention to that. So secondly, I want to focus on housing. So there's two aspects to the housing that I want to focus on for Monterey. There's the availability and there's the affordability. So first, availability. We need to increase the availability of housing on the market, but that's not an easy thing to do in Monterey because there's not a lot of land to develop on. And again, when we're struggling with water, you know, it's going to make it difficult for us to kind of build additional units in the community. But I suggest that we look at some options and brainstorm a little bit. One thing is supporting the current policy that the City Council has implemented that prevents short-term rentals, and we need to make sure that we reinforce this methodology. Another thing that we could do is we can make sure that we look at any available public property and see if we can build additional housing units there. So let me share with you a little bit of a personal story in reference to affordability. So for a short while when I was a young adult, I was homeless. And it was a really difficult experience for me. I had to balance between living in my car and... Thank you! I had to balance between living in my car and trying to bum sleeping on a friend's couch. And it got so bad that I would even fear asking them to take a shower at their house. So I would just go to the gym and take a shower there. And eventually, luckily, I got an offer for a position at the Naval Postgraduate School, moved up to Monterey, and I slowly was able to gain success. Along the way, I met my amazing partner, Ivan Bautista, who's brought so much stability to my life. And together last year, we bought a home in Monterey. But See, this is also partially why I'm running, because everybody that lives in Monterey should have that same opportunity to afford a home in Monterey. So I hope that we can work on some of those affordability issues and allow recognizing that half of the people that live in Monterey can't afford to live here. And with this, we want to share with you our home, and so we invite you to come up to our beautiful home up on West Franklin, often known as Spaghetti Hill, and we can continue having this conversation, talk about some of the issues that are important to you. I can share a little bit more with you about the kind of vision that I have for the campaign. And if you haven't got a card yet, there is some cards with the address on it, so you can get up there. Caspian back here, Caspian, can you raise your hand? If you have any checks, if you want to donate, please go to Caspian and give him your money. And then I kind of want to end it here with making sure that I can get all of you to commit to volunteering, because I can't do this by myself. And I've made a commitment to not accept any funds from corporations. And so this is only going to happen by having a people-driven campaign. So I hope that you also go over to the volunteer booth, sign up to stay connected about what's going on with the campaign, and I hope to see you out there. Thank you so much for joining me here today, guys. Okay, let's go. Thank you.
Anybody want to sign a petition? I want to.
Thank you. Of course.
I didn't know why these were really quick to me. You're not.